Hey there. Are you having some trials, tribulations, and challenges in your present hours? Perhaps you're grieving and even lost someone recently and feel a pain in your heart. My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is all is well. All is well is something my mom used to say, and I work to say it to myself when I see that I'm getting escalated anxiety or whatever. I'm worrisome about the future or anxious about the past or concerned that XYZ hasn't contacted me for XYZ reason. I just remember, oh yeah, all is well. I'm not a dictator of other souls. I don't want to command what they do. I don't want to be commanded by others either. I'm sovereign and autonomous, so are they. Oh yeah, all is well. All is well. Things have always died. I will die. Everyone I look upon will die. And so I just work to make greater peace with that, you know? The reason I say all is well is because there, I believe, is a deep misnomer in this realm that trial, tribulation, challenge, trauma, darkness, shadow, grief, suffering are undesirables. Might be a part of a caste system. That is undesirable. I don't want that. That's bad guy. Don't want it. I only want to laugh. As I've told many of my students throughout the many years I've been teaching, you wouldn't want to be born and laugh from birth all the way to the grave. You'd be like, I'm so tired of laughing. If I could just have some silence and some peace. If I could experience some grief and some sorrow to know anything distinct from this one emotion I'm feeling, you know? We actually have a beautiful range of emotions we get to feel here. We have a beautiful range of thoughts, which I always say the water of the heart trickles from the air of the mind, which I think about, you feel about, and then bring about and manifest in your paradigm. And so we have thoughts that we're thinking, words that we're speaking. Heather's also often said, all prayers are answered. Everything you're saying is a prayer also. So mind your mind. How negative is your talk? Negative talk, negative input in, negative TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, television. You know, people say they don't have TV anymore. If you have Netflix, Hulu, or Prime, you have TV. You know what I mean? This is TV. This is TV in the modern age. So if you're feeding yourself a lot of dark and negative things, you may find that the air of those thoughts lead to waters of sorrow and pain and suffering. The news causes depression. By all means, watch it if what you're looking to do is be depressed. You know what I mean? You could also put your attention on people that are changing the world, people that are making a difference. You could actually expand that into the web of awareness because our consciousness is connected. And we know this from the story of the 100th monkey. In Japan, there were scientists that were doing a study with monkeys on a particular island, and they would drop these huge crates of sweet potatoes, but as the crate busted, when it hit the ground, it would roll into the sand and they would get really dirty. And a young female monkey picked up one of the sweet potatoes, took it to the water, and washed the sand off. Her name was Imo, I-M-O. And Imo went to her mother and to some of her playmates, and she taught them this modality of washing the sweet potato in the sand. And it's estimated that around the time the 100th monkey on this island was taught this modality of rinsing the sand off, all monkeys in surrounding islands and in the mainland all began to wash their sweet potatoes. They began to wash their vegetables before eating them. Now, no one on the other islands or on the mainland taught the other monkeys to do this. This is indicative of consciousness being connected. This 100th monkey that you hear about is a study that was done that flushed something else up in the field other than the study they were doing with the monkeys to begin with, which is that consciousness is connected. And so with your consciousness being connected in the web of your experience, every trial, every tribulation, every challenge, every pain point that you have, that you are able to come to peace with, come to understand, recognize that you gain more strength, you gain more empathy, you gain more compassion, you gain more content of character, the juge de la juge. You gain more content of character through every trial and tribulation you've ever been through. And with that content of character, you are shaking the web with greater strength, greater compassion, greater empathy, because our consciousness is connected, and you are being a grace and a gift to every consciousness that is out there because of what you've endured and who you've become as a result of it. Now, you can have trial, tribulation, trauma, suffering, grief, and you can be in what Mr. Paul would call a poor, pitiful pearl state. Mr. Paul was a neighbor when I had a partner ages ago in Texas, and he lived downstairs from us. And he used to always say, poor, pitiful pearl. Anytime somebody was singing that terrible song with the world's smallest violin, please hear my pains, and it's true. We can spend our lives in a pity party for our sufferings, or we can recognize that the reality is life has always been a playground of shadow and light. It's always been a playground of love and fright. It's always been a playground of understanding and lack of clarity. We've always had this dualistic opportunity or spectrum of opportunity, as we're awakening to in the modern age, of a range of how we can choose to conceive, perceive, believe about any given circumstance. The reality I have seen again and again and again is that some of the most evolved souls, some of the souls that do the most amazing work here at 𝐟𝐶 have had some of the darkest lives. I have to remind myself all the time, Heather, there are humans on earth that have lost more than 60 to 70 people. And so I can be in a pity party about that. Poor Heather, all I do is bury the dead. And I certainly tell my ally spirits that all the time. I am tired of dealing with your dead. Like even when I go on a hike, there's often something dead for me to look at. It's like, okay. But I have my consciousness squarely rooted in the dead. And you're welcome, humanity. I am shaking that in the web. It is okay to be macabre. It is okay to be dark. It is okay to face death. It is okay to lay in corpse pose like a Buddhist might do and meditate on your rotting corpse. Or imagine your body being burned to ash, because likely one of those two things is going to occur for you. And so you can come to peace with your exit that is on the way. It's going to be delivered one day. We can look into our darkened hours. We can look into our pain and see, what has it given me? What I can tell you, having dealt with all this death, I'm far more afraid of life than I'll ever be of death. I'm not afraid of death at all. I will be elated the day that I die. I can't wait for that day to come. So excited about it. I got a lot of people over there. We're going to have a great time because there is no hell to me. There's just consciousness exiting flesh sack costumes. And I can't wait to get back around the consciousness that I love. The previous pets I've had, the humans that I've known that are not in the flesh sack I knew them in, right? And so I am way at peace with a concept called death. I have met many people that are terrified of death, terrified of their own death, or terrified of the death of someone else in their family. And fair enough, we all have different fears that move us in this world. But if you were to take time to make peace with that concept, what would it be like if I lost my mother, my father, my lover, my sibling, whatever it is, my friend? And if I knew I was going to lose them in a month, would I want to do anything differently with them today? What a beautiful check-in. And we can do that in many different ways. What darkened hours have you had? You know, Richard Bach says in the book 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞, there's no such thing as a problem without a gift for you in its hands. We seek problems because we need their gifts. So the question is, those problems, those trials, those tribulations, those traumas that you faced, what gift did it give you? What did you get out of it? How is your content of character different today? What do you understand? Sometimes we're learning the gift of discernment. Let me discern who a person is before I openly invite them into all aspects of my life, you know? Let me see that something is a match to what I seek before I opt in. You know, so sometimes we are garnering something that is far richer than just the dark given experience. We love to have diversity because the universe is diverse. If you just sat catatonically and drooled on yourself, you had all of your mental capacities that you have today, you might find that to be a very boring life. You will find that your life is not this dull thing. It actually has a spectrum of emotional resonance and responses, a spectrum of thoughts. Heather's challenge is, I get tired. I've had a dark life and I get tired of listening to all the drama and escalate. It's like, everybody calm down. We're all going to die. We're all going to die. Hey, guess what? You're going to die. Everything I look at, future death, you know what I mean? Steady decay. So, you know, I sometimes don't want to hear any of it. And the reality is life is shadow and light. How much are you making peace with the reality that everything you've ever been given has evolved you, and perhaps all is well, exactly as is? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, and I love to hear your thoughts. I'm one.